Ruth's point of view, and Ruth is what's known as an unreliable narrator, meaning that we don't necessarily fully take her at her word about what she's telling us. Not necessarily because she's lying, but because she could also have maybe confused understandings of the situation. But if film noir often has a flashback, what's very interesting is that Hitchcock very dreamily stylizes the flashback here in a kind of lyrical but also disorienting way to cause us to question the reality of what we're seeing. The candid angle and use of slow motion and lush music convey Ruth's romantic fantasy and can be read as a false flashback, something that Hitchcock used in his film set in England, Stage Fright. In the countryside, this is still during the flashback sequence, the couple gets caught in a terrible all-night thunderstorm and seeks shelter in a summer house. So it is entirely plausible that I Confess found its setting because it showcased the cassock-clad bodies of male priests, which Hitchcock wanted to visualize. He was very concerned with depicting the priest in this particular garb. So here's another sort of issue that we might think about in the film, especially in terms of the double or doppelganger theme. The critic John Orr writes, Hitchcock's casting of two gay actors, Clift and Hasse, might well intimate a hidden agenda. Amy Lawrence argues a different point in her excellent study of Clift's star persona, though her contention, I should say her reading dovetails with my own reading of the film. The flashback is usually discussed in terms of what it reveals about Ruth's subjective perception of the past, but it is constructed through frequent returns to the present. By cutting back and forth from the sexually available young soldier to the priest in his cassock, the film raises the issue of the priest's sexuality. And so that is something that we might think about in terms of the themes of our course of Community and the Outcast. This film is made in the Cold War era of the 1950s. There was an enormous wave of persecution against many different kinds of people, including gays and lesbians who worked in government and the university system. And, we're in the McCarthy era, and maybe is it possible that the film picks up on its own moment and maybe offers a kind of critique of the what's becoming a mania to persecute queer people in the U.S. And of course, these are themes that are going to resonate anew in Angels in America, Tony Kushner's play, right? So again, which is also partly set in the 1950s, or evokes the 1950s, kind of toggling between the 50s and the Reagan 1980s. Is it possible that Keller desires Logan and that this is why he frames him for the murder? Hitchcock's usual theme of the exchange of guilt in this case is also the exchange of outcast status. So I had been mentioning the 19th century Gothic as an intertext, right? Originally, the film was going to include the backstory of the priest's illicit affair with Ruth and their illegitimate child. The film studio, Warner Brothers, forced Hitchcock to excise this backstory. And of course, it recalls the famous work of adultery in American literature, Hawthorne's 1850 novel, The Scarlet Letter, about Hester Prynne and her adulterous affair with the young minister Arthur Dimmesdale and their illegitimate child, Pearl. A crucial relationship in Hawthorne's novel is that between the priest Dimmesdale and the physician Chillingworth, who also happens to be, in secret, Hester Prynne's husband. And Chillingworth suspects the young Dimmesdale, the minister, of being the newborn Pearl's father. And of course he's right about this, but what he does is he moves in with Dimmesdale and secretly persecutes the minister in order to kind of pry his secret from him.